everybody, and welcome to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from Dover. One of the absolutely craziest, well, that came out completely wrong. Great start to the broadcast here tonight. One of the craziest tracks on the schedule, the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. Super challenging racetrack. I'm Austin Edstrom, sitting here with Brian Britt and my producer, Austin Darbyshire. Austin squared up in the booth. We're ready to get this one kicked off in just a couple minutes as we've got qualifying going on currently. Gonna take a quick look at the weather report and track stats here as we kick this one off here tonight. 78 degrees out is the ambient temperature, and the track temp is a toasty 110 degrees. Gonna be super, super loose. Everybody's gonna be struggling for grip all night long.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think this is going to be a rough track. I think this is going to be a rough day, I should say, for all of these drivers here. Resource management is going to be key. These guys have 4 sets of tires altogether, 3 in the pits. This place has always been known to be a shredder of tires. Any cement-based racetrack or asphalt, kind of like a concrete track, I should say, has always been known to burn tires up.
Yeah, look at these points. I mean, it's still super tight at the top. Keegan Sabilo, Andrew Hale have kind of gapped themselves a little bit, right? A little bit of a 9-point gap in between second and third place there between Hale and Lorenzo, but really tight at the top between the front two, and then everybody behind them is really stacked up with Lorenzo, Taylor, and Harris all within 2 points for that final podium position of the standings on the year. And even back a little bit further, Jeff Noe, Heath Snyder, Tyler Meeks, if any of those guys have good nights tonight, they could cut that gap down really well. Before we kind of jump into our starting lineup and whatnot, I'm going to, do a little Champion Power Equipment read for you all. This broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CK has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. And today they're going to be powering all of these trucks around the Dover International Speedway. To your point, this track tears up tires like crazy. You have to have an absolutely straight wheel on throttle through these corners and try not to get in too deep, but they invite you to just drive in as deep as possible because there's so much time there, but you're not going to make it past 10 laps in the stint before you start going backwards if you chew those good years up a little bit too early.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. I feel like, there is such a temptation to overdrive at this racetrack, and you can make up some time early. So if you're really good on the short run, you might be able to make something happen later in this race. Of course, this is a 150-lap show. Of course, 67 to 70 laps, I do believe, is about the fuel window. So if these guys were to go green the entire way, they would probably have to stop twice. Going back to the points a little bit, James Harris finished second last week. He's been doing pretty good. He said last week, I do believe in his interview, that this is his second favorite track. At the moment, he's qualified second. Of course, Keegan Sobilo won last week, and he's at the top of the board. He's short track guru. Does Dover fit him? I think we're going to see a great battle here. Now, Heath Snyder, we talked about him. He's been strong this season. Not going to be here tonight. That's going to be unfortunate. Not going to be a whole lot of points for him.
Yeah, tough. He won that season opener, put himself in a good spot in the points. He's fallen just a little bit. Now he's going to fall a little bit further due to missing this race. But to your point about James Harris, that poor guy needs to stop calling his shot because I'm pretty sure he said he liked Michigan. He said Texas was his favorite racetrack. He led not every lap, but most laps of both of those races by far, and did not win. I mean, he has had the bad luck bug all year long. So hopefully tonight, with the second favorite racetrack, he can kind of turn the luck around. I remember seeing him talking earlier. He was going to plan to not lead the most laps so that he could possibly win at the end. So we're going to have to wait to see if that strategy works out for James. But we're going to jump right to the starting lineup as qualifying has ended. Starting on the pole, Brian Lorenzo, really quick time of 22.969. That's pretty nice. Second place is going to be Keegan Sabilo with James Harris in third, Nathan Meyer in fourth, Andrew Hale fifth, and Brian Toole rounds out our third row right here. George Young in seventh, Jason Taylor in eighth, and Amir Bascom in ninth, and Brad Thacker rounds out your top 10.
Brandon Ball is going to be starting in 11th place, Jeff Noe in 12th, Ray Kennison in 13th, Garth Snyder 14th, Larry Fairman in 15th. John Lucio, I do believe, is going to be starting in 16th. Tyler Meeks, 17th. 18th, Stephen Pless. 19th, Robert Wynn. And rounding out this 20-car field is Dan Hellewig. So definitely going to be some really awesome racing here tonight. 20 cars. Nice field here for Dover. Let's see who's going to be able to have, I think, the resources to last, because that's what it's going to be all about here tonight. It's going to be, I think, very hard to pass. For the most part, guys are going to be running around the bottom side of the racetrack. What do you think? What are your experiences with this track, Austin?
Well, track position means a ton, but to what you were saying earlier with how important the tire wear is, you've mentioned carrot on the stick mentality a lot. I feel like a lot of the guys up front could fall victim to that, thinking that they could push just a little bit harder and not pace themselves, especially in this early going. And if we don't get that early caution, that could hurt them really, really bad. I've seen it happen in multiple open series races that I've done here at Dover. It catches somebody out every single time. So I imagine we're going to see another issue like that. Probably someone in the top 5 we're going to see on this first run drop through the field after about 15, 20 laps.
No, I definitely think you're right. I think somebody's going to fall victim to that. I think if somebody's going to be trying to keep up with the guys ahead here and make that mistake, I think clean air is going to be incredibly important here as well. So Brian Lorenzo probably going to want to try to hold on to that as best as he can. And that could also maybe provoke him to wear his tires out a little bit more as well. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Of course, this is a mile racetrack, so I think dirty air and clean air are going to be important.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And being in that dirty air, you can wear tires a little bit more because you got to turn the wheel a little bit more. So it's just a little bit of a double dose. So Lorenzo's in the best place, but you never know. But as they're tasting around here at Dover, I'm going to introduce Green Mountain Grill, where innovation meets flavor, and your grilling experience reaches new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Why should you choose Green Mountain Grill? They have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood-fired flavor, and they are easy to use and easy to clean. Ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today by visiting https://greenmountaingrills.com/company. They're supposed to be backslashes, apparently. I guess I said it wrong. They look forward to me, but that is what it is. My producers let me know. I'm hungry as well, and I'm hungry to see some great racing as we're coming out of turn 4 here to take that green flag. Brian Lorenzo on the front road. The green flag is out. He's stomping the gas here at Dover. Really tough restart zone as well. We did not even touch on that as Keegan Sabilo looks to take the lead down in turn 1.
Yeah, already. Look at this great run from Sabilo. He just sails it right into 1 and 2, and he is going to get clear for the lead. Lorenzo probably not expecting that at all as we see James Harris duking it out with Nathan Meyer for that 3rd place position.
Oh, that's going to be the only time we see the outside line beat the inside line all night. I guarantee it, because the green flag starts the race on the first start. Everything after that is led by the leader, and the leader will just get way too good of a jump here at Dover. But there, Keegan Sabilo was on the front row, on the outside, took advantage of it as the green flag came out. And actually, our pole sitter, Brian Lorenzo, gets into the fence coming out of turn 2 as he's still side by side with James Harris.
Yeah, he is stuck up on the top right now. He cannot get down. As you see, Nathan Meyer, of course, is underneath him. That's one thing we really haven't talked about as well about this racetrack is coming off these corners, especially when you're running that higher side, there is a bump. The banking changes on both ends of this racetrack are quite substantial, and you could find yourself up in that wall if you hit it wrong.
Yeah, and the problem is not really the body here with the trucks. We all know about the new damage model here that we've had for, I guess a year now or something like that. So if you touch the wall, it's not going to damage your body too much, but you could damage the suspension of that right front tire. And at that point, at a track like Dover, you are done. And now James Harris to the outside here of our race leader, Keegan Sabilo, really pushing through 1 and 2.
Yeah, really strong run so far from Harris, who started up in 3rd place. He was able to take advantage of his starting position and is now taking the lead. Now, keep this in mind. This is normal for Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo always takes it easy, always looks like he's struggling, but really he is saving tire. So watch out. He's probably saying, go ahead, James. Go on ahead and burn them tires up. I'll see you later.
And it matters so much here. I mean, Dover, Darlington, Bristol, all tracks that just absolutely chew up that right front tire. And if Keegan Sabilo runs like he has all year long, we know he's going to be slow for 15 laps. We know he's going to be slow for 20 as the caution comes out, but everything after 20, he's going to be the fastest on the racetrack. Can't quite tell who's stuck against the outside wall here in 3 and 4. I believe there was actually 2 cars around. We see the 69 here of Pless. I want to say I saw one more. Oh, yep, there's the other one. That's Jeff No coming down pit road.
Yeah, Jeff No, I think, was the one you were talking about that was stuck on the wall. Something definitely happened here. I was not able to see it, but I do believe we see the 69. I think we're trying to make a pass here. And he just dives it in and pops the back end of the 1. Oh, and in more contact, there's Lucido that gets into the back of the 69 as well. So that's 3 trucks that got some major damage now.
They do have that fast repair. I feel like Steven, he's in that side-by-side battle with the 16, obviously trying to dive into the corner to outdrive the 16. But he just didn't really take into account the 1 being there, and then came down the racetrack. Lucido was
Yeah.
on the apron the entire way, and Stephen Pless just kind of came down in front of him as he kind of had been committed down to the apron line. And I'm honestly kind of surprised Pless came down onto the apron. I feel like being on the banking there was probably his safest play. It was a little, maybe a little bit hard to follow to kind of come down like that. But we're looking at Keegan Sabilo here. Jeff No getting past a couple of these guys as well. Still looking at the replay as Sabilo was crawling there on the apron. But yeah, that was just a kind of weird scenario. Luckily, all these guys do have that one fast repair. The problem is I wouldn't want to use the fast repair 7 laps into Dover.
No,
I mean,
definitely
this is a
not.
track you're going to want to save that thing for later. Lucido got the bad end of the stick in turn 3 and 4 on that, to where, unfortunately for him, he just has to use a fast repair. I mean, that's going to be heavy contact on the front end, so he's definitely going to have to use a fast repair. And Pless turning across his nose down on the apron, more than likely going to have to use a fast repair for that rear end. And obviously, Jeff No, I mean, he got absolutely punted into that outside wall. I imagine he's going to have to come down pit road and use his as well.
Yeah, I mean, already very dramatic, set of laps here at the beginning of this race. So, wonder what the rest of it's going to look like. Of course, cautions usually breed cautions. But James Harris right now out front, he's going to get a chance, I think, to really cool those tires down a little bit while he's out here kind of pacing. So, can he maybe kind of equalize I guess, the wear? Because I think that's going to be important. Keegan, we know he was probably trying to take it easy. Another driver has been incredibly fast. I think that a lot of us count him out. I know I do. Should speak for myself. Nathan Meyer, 24, has been incredibly good this season. I mean, he has been one of the best guys out here, as I do believe him at the late green. Maybe some problems on the track. Not everybody able to get lined up.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell what happened, but they did extend it 1 lap, so I know we're double file right now, but we're going to have 1 more caution lap after this one. But to your point, I mean, Nathan Meyer has been quick consistently, but he hasn't been race-winning quick consistently, I suppose. But last week at Michigan, he should have won the race. Let's be honest. He came from miles back after that pit stop and was easily the fastest truck on the track. Made a pass for second, and as soon as he got clear for that position, gets absolutely destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but he gets ran over going down into turn 1. He does a great job saving it and comes back to finish on the podium, even after dropping back to 5th or 6th with completely torn up rear tires from that half spin. But to your point, I feel like he's been a contender, right? He's been like fringe top 5 contender, and I feel like he's kind of taken his game up a level here this season. He's been relatively quick at every race, I do believe, that at least I've called. I wasn't here for that second race, but I think I've seen him up front more often than not, especially compared to last season. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Meyer brought it home in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible, and I think you're right. He showed a lot of his skill last week at Michigan, especially with how he had lost a bunch of time coming on pit road and was able to. We were like, okay, he's done. That's it. That's all. He
overshot his box under green. I mean, what in the world?
Mean, usually that's something that usually writes you off that you're not going to win this race. But somehow, some way, he drove his way up to the top 3 and was going to probably take the lead. But then, unfortunately, he had an incident with Andrew Hale, and that definitely was some hurt feelings there as well. Hopefully those hurt feelings don't spill over into this race.
I don't blame him for being hurt, right? I mean, he should have won the race. I think he was far and away the best. I think James Harris was leading at the time that the initial spin happened, and James didn't win the race. So I really think if Meyer would have gotten past him at that point, he would have just driven away from everybody else. Keegan Sabilo ended up coming home with the victory, though, instead. Obviously, Sabilo's been quick all year and all of last season, so that's not too big of a surprise. But here we go. Coming back to the green flag. Pace car is off. This is what I'm talking about. The leader should get a huge jump every time from now on in the restart zone. And James Harris gets to the gas way better than the 77 of Sabilo. Easily takes the lead before they get to the start-finish line and is going to have clean track getting it down into turn 1, but they're side-by-side for second.
Yeah, and if that's the case, if that bottom line gets to run every time like this, Brian Lorenzo is going to be kicking himself. Like, how did I qualify on the pole and lose the lead on the first lap? But look at the Sabilo fighting hard up on that top side. What can he do? He gets cleared for second. He's going to drop down in front of Meyer. Really great work from Sabilo. He's able to really make that top crew work here like no one I've been able to see so far has been able to.
Yeah, on both the restarts so far, he's been side-by-side on the outside and has been able to keep the position or take the position away from somebody. So Sabilo, it seems like he uses the tires a little bit on the restart just to kind of hold position. But then after that, it is so difficult to pass, so you can just kind of back it up a little bit. Every single corner, just back up a little bit further, and make sure you save that right front tire and not give up too many spots. This is one of those racetracks where even if you slow down a little bit, you're not going to give up too many spots as the caution is out. I see Jeff knows a little off the racing line on the front straightaway. Oh, that's
Looks like
Lucido
John
around, I
Lucido,
believe,
yeah.
at the end of the straightaway. Couldn't quite tell what happened. Gonna have to get another replay here. Second caution in 12 laps so far. Dover's a tough track, though, man. I mean, I'm not really too surprised in the early going that we're even seeing some accidents.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of this has probably got to do with hard to predict other drivers, what they're doing. I mean, you see
Oh,
right
gosh.
there. Oh, man, I hate that for John Lucido.
I couldn't tell you how many times that has happened to me, man. I mean, Kinnison definitely came off the wall. There's no other way to spin that. I've done that to people, and I've had that done to me, and that does not feel good. Getting right rear down the straightaway. That'll frustrate you.
I'm sure, yeah, definitely. It's got to be frustrating. I mean,
he left a lot of room,
and
too.
This is the kind of track to where that happens probably more often than not. I mean, you see that wall comes up so fast. When you hit that banking change, it sends you up there. And a lot of times you're not expecting that. So I think the 47 just probably overcorrected to try to stay off that wall, and unfortunately came down and hit Lucido.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you can just watch the car in front, and you don't even have to watch him go away from the wall. I mean, that's what you're looking for, but you can just look at the car in front. I believe that's a 5 Larson truck. I believe that's Garth Snyder that was in front. He stayed plastered to that wall on the outside, and the 47 to Kinnison obviously came down, was not even in the same lane, but like I said, that's a Dover incident, man. I mean, you've got so much wheel cranked into it on the exit of this thing. It's really tough, but this is what I'm surprised to see. Sabilo's come down and just taken gas.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because, I mean, you got to think about it. The estimated fuel window, of course, is 67 to 70 laps. So I think he's making it to where he can only has to make one stop. But then again, these cautions, I think, make it to where you only have to make one stop. So that might have been unnecessary. And you even talked about it earlier, how big track position is. He is going to be lacking that track position now.
If this was a mile and a half, I would have loved that call. But it's Dover, and we're not going to stop wrecking, right? I mean, like, we might get like a 20, 30, 40 lap green flag run at some point, but we're going to have wrecks pretty consistently throughout this race, I got to say. So I get the strategy call from Sabilo. It's a strategy call I've made a million times myself, but typically they're at mile and a half. So anything under that, I really feel like you just need to keep your track position, unless you can get to the end of the race from coming down pit road. But I mean, we'll see. He could put his money where his mouth is, and the field could run green the entire way, and he would far and away win this race, absolutely. But I just feel like the odds are relatively low, right? Like, that's like me throwing a PAL sphere at one of the big bosses at the end of the PAL World game, but I'm only level 3, like 0.2% chance you're gonna catch it.
I don't know. I think you're kind of overselling it a little bit when it comes to the cautions. I think we'll get a good green run. I think that with Dover, when you get spread out, that happens eventually, and
that's true.
So I think that's going to happen. It's just these guys got to get that kind of Dover mindset going. I don't think they've gotten it quite yet. I don't think they've gotten the rhythm of the racetrack. But once they get that, I think we're going to have a good green run. So I hate to be the to argue with there, but I just
don't see us going 135.
No, I don't see that. I don't. But I mean, I think that we could see a good 60, 70 lap run. We could see green flag pit stops. We've seen it time and time again in this series. These guys are usually pretty clean.
It's just Dover, man. It's just Dover. I wouldn't expect to see it at Bristol. I wouldn't expect to see it at Martinsville, right? Like, those are caution fests. Dover is just kind of the same way. It's such a fun track to drive, though, so it's very frustrating it can be like that. But I also think we could get a good green flag run at some point. But we are coming to our third green flag here of the evening. James Harris on the inside, Nathan Meyer on the outside. Again, that inside line is just going to get a massive jump. Ryan Lorenzo is going to have an opportunity to take that second place position away from Nathan Meyer going down to turn 1. But I think Meyer's going to get a pretty good run coming off the corner. He actually clears him in the center of the corner. Doesn't even give Lorenzo a chance.
Yeah, these guys are able to really make that middle to top route work on these relatively new tires. I think eventually that's not going to be the case. I think eventually these guys are going to be really risking spinning that race car out doing that, or getting really, really tight on the exit. As you see, Brandon Ball into the outside wall. He comes down, almost gets George Young. Wow, I bet Young, if he had seen how close he just came to getting spun, I think he'd be a little bit worried.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just don't see... Oh, they're still pounding off the wall. Sabilo almost got absolutely turned in the back. That would have been huge. It would have been cussing and screaming from getting right reared right after he just came down to get gas after taking just a splash of gas. That would have been an absolutely terrible, terrible decision.
Oh, we got problems. Dan Hillewig, I do believe, just hit the wall. Yellow's out.
Yeah, the cautions are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming, man. It'll calm down at some point. Maybe once everybody's fast repairs are gone, it'll calm down.
I hope so, man. That is right there. So I think he just got tight on the 7 of Meeks.
Well, he got tight, hit the wall, came down, and Sabilo got to his inside. So he was reacting to Sabilo getting to his inside, I believe. I guess he didn't hit the wall, but then
he get a little bit loose there.
He definitely turned right back across the 7. But it was in reaction to the 77 just about making it 3 wide, which I'm not putting that on the 77 by any means, right? He has every right to put his nose down there. He didn't force that. But it is just unfortunate. I would probably put that more on Dan Holuwig, I'd have to say. Just because, I mean, he left the lane for Meeks, and then he just kind of turned back across his nose on the middle of the straightaway. So hopefully both those guys can just take their fast repairs and be all right, though, and they can keep it clean and green after this. A couple more guys coming down pit road, including our race leader and our 4th place driver of Andrew Hale. So James Harris, Andrew Hale, both coming down pit road right after Sabilo. Again, I don't like the call, man. I really don't like putting myself back in traffic this early in the race.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if they take tires. Because if they take tires, that might be, I don't know if that'd be, it could go either way, really. I like Meyer's call. I like Lorenzo's call.
Oh, wow.
Bascombe, I think that's a good call. Now, are these guys, they are taking tires. Oh, it looks like Hale actually missed his box. Has to kind of organize himself there, so he's going to lose some spots there.
He took only gas?
I think I saw the 55 of Harris. I think he took tires.
He did, but Andrew Hale took only gas, even though he was in his box for a long, long time. You saw him have to reposition.
I don't think he was actually. Yeah, I don't think he had to. I think he had to reposition. Exactly what you were saying. Now with the new tires, Harris will probably drive through this field pretty well, I'd say. But then again, we only got 3 down in the pits. I mean, this is 150.
Oh my! James Harris has just been rear-ended by Court Snyder under caution on the back straightaway. Huge damage to the back end of the 55.
Oh no!
I don't know exactly what happened. I think Garth might have been looking at his phone.
Could have been. Let's take a look. Yep, right here.
Oh my! Yeah, there's not really a reason to be going that fast. I don't think.
Have been paying
but
attention.
Look, this goes to my point though with pitting right now. It doesn't matter whether it's under green or under caution. I wouldn't put myself back there, man. I just wouldn't. There's no way I'm putting myself that far back in the pack.
He had to not be paying attention.
No, he definitely wasn't. He definitely wasn't.
I guarantee you, Harris is like, come on, like seriously.
So now Harris has to use his fast repair under the next caution, which is going to keep him back there behind everybody.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I would use my. I would see what happens here for Harris, and
that's fair.
And I don't know. I mean, rear end damage. I mean, yes, that can be a big deal, but it also could help him. You never even know. I mean, with a track like Dover, I mean, you never know.
It's very flush in the middle. Like it's bent in perfectly in the middle, so it's not like it's one of the fenders. So I don't think it's going to be the biggest detriment. But I'm also worried because to your point, yeah, to your point though, he put on new tires, so it could mask the problem. He could still be faster than everybody on this run, but then the next whenever everybody's on equal tires again, he could be slower. So I don't know. I feel like I'd at least spend the extra time and get it fixed, whether it's a fast repair or
I would
the
do optional. I wouldn't use the fast repair. I'd try to optional get it repaired.
Well, Nathan Meyer going to lead us back to the green. Oh, that's just about wrecking.
I thought having a hard time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he had to get on the apron to avoid wrecking Thacker there, but I mean, good save at the end of the day, but I thought he was going to absolutely kill our pole sitter of Brian Lorenzo on the outside of the racetrack. Good on him, keeping it out of Lorenzo, but that was tight. And Dover's going to have that all night, man, especially as the tires get older. If we do have restarts on older tires, it's one of the toughest restart zones on the circuit. You're coming out of that corner. You don't have a lot of load. I'm just seeing people making crazy 3-wide dives down to the inside on the front straightaway. It's freaking me out a little bit as we're just about 3-wide, the middle of 1 and 2. Back a little bit further back, but Harris is making up that ground.
Here comes Brandon Paul. He's going to try to take it 3-wide on Bascom. I mean, yeah, I think that this is a concrete track. We talked about that before. I mean, the tire wear is so great, and you're bound to have wheel spin on these starts. Oh, Bascom again, almost wrecking. Oh no!
This track, man, it just brings the worst out of everybody. I'm telling you.
See, I don't remember Dover being like this. We see Lorenzo's actually challenging for the lead. He was just for a second. He's tried to go underneath Meyer, but has not been able to really get side by side. If we look on the roof of this race car, because you can tell he's trying to build a run on these straightaways, taking a little bit of a diamond line. I like that line that Lorenzo's taking there.
Yeah, he's getting a straighter exit, so he's likely to save that right front tire a little bit better than Nathan Meyer in front of him. Here, Meyer's kind of running that late apex of a line through 3 and 4. Lorenzo holds it tight on the bottom, just about all the way through, but he's really clean coming off and using all the racetrack. It's a little sketchy at this racetrack because coming out of 2 and 4, that wall comes out of absolutely nowhere. So you just barely get the corner wrong coming out, and it is going to throw you into that outside wall and destroy your race truck. But he's doing a really good job maximizing the entire track width at this point, coming out of turn 2, coming out of turn 4. And he's running really good lap times right here behind Nathan Meyer, even in the dirty air.
He looks smooth. He looks real smooth compared to Meyer. And I think you can see Meyer, he's not really holding the greatest of lines. He goes up the track a little bit. He moves around a lot more, while Lorenzo is just looking like he knows what he's doing. And this is a track that you want to know what you're doing. There are walls everywhere at this racetrack, and if you hit one of them, you're going to hit another one right after that.
I definitely get your point, but I like Nathan's line as well. I don't necessarily think it's poor. I like that high entry and just late apex. Some people double apex. Some people just hold the bottom all the way around. There's so many different ways you can get around the corner to kind of bypass the dirty air. Now, obviously, Nathan Meyer is not worrying about dirty air right now, right? He's in front. He's able to run whatever line he wants to. But I don't think that he's pushing it too hard. I mean, he looks really steady on that wheel. I know we can't see his throttle input, but that doesn't look too aggressive.
No, it doesn't. Like, you know, looking through the cockpit, it doesn't look too bad for sure. It's just a different take, I'd say, on how to run this track. And Meyer's a fast guy. I can't say that I would be doing as well as he is. That's for sure. But
hey, you won an A Open this week, man. You can be out there.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever. But no, I mean,
first trumpet has sounded.
Oh goodness. James Harris, though, look at this guy, the 55, driving his way through the field. That rear end damage is not affecting him. I think you called that right on the money. Look at the lap times here. He's hitting tenths faster than everybody.
I'm just nervous, man. I'm nervous that the tires are masking it. I really am, because let me see. They ran, it looks like 11 green flag laps before. Oh man, it might have even been a little bit more than that. They've ran about 10 green flag laps, 11 green flag laps before he came down pit road. At 1.5 miles, that might not be huge, but at Dover, man, I'm telling you, that's a lot. We've been talking about that right front tire a lot, even in the pre-race. I really think that Meyer and Lorenzo are starting to feel that right front tire wear. James Harris is not feeling that at all. And once the tires start wearing is whenever you start feeling damage more as well. So I think it's kind of a double dose of the new tires are masking it in a couple different ways. One, it's preventing the damage from making it feel like there is any damage. He'll feel it soon. And second, he's just got the better grip on the tire, so he's able to rail these guys in.
I don't know, man. Last time by, he was actually slower than Lorenzo, so
it could be hurting now.
I think it's already starting to catch up to him, and I think the whole thing is as well. I think what's even worse than that damage is going to be just not having that extra set of tires. I mean, that extra set of tires is going to be like gold later in this race.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Only having 3 tires behind the pits, and he used one on lap 20. That's early, man.
Early.
That is really, really early.
This is a resource management race, and he, I think, just dropped the ball a little bit there. He's going to have to hope that this thing runs green.
Absolutely. That's a great point. If it runs green and he gets that big 50-60 lap average, or sorry, 50-60 lap run, then it could absolutely even out a little bit. Now, he'll still be down a tire set. He'll only have one more. But if it runs to lap 100 before that comes out, a lot of these guys are going to have to pit before then. So he will have to, or he'll get to stay out until lap 85, 90. All these other guys are still going to have to pit about 75, 80. So if that caution comes out in between, he'll have all these guys trapped a lap down.
Yeah. No, I mean, it could work out for him. It's just probability's sakes. I mean, I think you were right earlier. I think we'll see some cautions. And if we see more cautions, if we see untimely cautions, he's going to be maybe stuck out there on an old set of tires while everybody else has got new ones. He could go a lap down himself because of the lap time difference is so great. I mean, even look at the lap time difference right now. I mean, he's on newer tires than everybody around him. He's about 0.7 of a second slower than his fastest laps. That's a lot of fall off.
But even though he's a lot slower, he's making the pass for the lead. I mean, he has cleared Nathan Meyer like he is standing still, man. I mean, those new tires. Now, this is a big point. While I think this is a bad call for the longevity of this race, we get a good idea of what it's going to mean later in the race if all these other guys have the tires and he does not. So if anybody takes tires with 10, 15, 20 laps left, they're going to be just as rapid as James Harris is right now.
Maybe more. I mean, the thing is as well, though, what is his car going to start doing in clean air? We've seen him in dirty air. Maybe that spoiler damage has been maybe working better in dirty air. But now that he's in clean, that is going to actually maybe affect the handling of that car even more. It could better it, could make it worse.
Definitely could, and this is a track where aero means a lot. It's a shorter track, so you typically would not think that aero would be that big of a deal, but you're so quick around these corners, and dirty air is such a big issue that every little bit of an aero disadvantage is magnified compared to a lot of other racetracks, especially the shorter tracks like Martinsville, Phoenix. Well, Phoenix sucks in real life for aero, but on the surface, I don't think it's too terrible. And Bristol, tracks like that, not that big of a deal, but at Dover, where you're going so quick around these corners, it's going to be a huge detriment if it is a problem with that rear spoiler. But luckily for him, it looks like the spoiler just bent up a little, so he might have a little bit more downforce. Like, to credit you for what you said during the caution flag, he could have a little bit more rear downforce than everybody else.
Yeah, he could. I mean, I think it could either help him or hurt him. I mean, I've seen it happen to where it helps people. We do have a battle going on for 8th right now. Jason Taylor, I do believe, battling side by side with Andrew Hale. Looks like Hale has gotten that pass completed. He moves up into the 8th place position. Now I'm going to try to see if he can possibly get up there to Brandon Ball. We see George Young. He's as well, I do believe, fighting with Bascom. A little bit further back, you see Robert Wynn's actually fighting with Bascom. So some pretty good battling going on. Here comes Wynn to the inside of the 48.
Yeah, Wynn trying to take that away from George Young in the 48. Both pretty high through the center of the corner. 16 trying to squeeze it down on exit to still try to get a good run. Keep it even all the way down the back straightaway. Just about does. Is able to keep that right rear quarter panel. And through 3 and 4, wraps the bottom really nicely. Got to say from Wynn, that's a really tidy line through 3 and 4, and that's going to give him the spot.
That was about perfect. I mean, I really like what I saw there with that 16. He was able to really look real smooth through the center of the corner. He got past just in time to be able to really widen out that exit, and that's exactly what he needed to do. And now he's up in the top 10. So great job for the 16. Here comes the 42 of Bascom. He looked, of course, a little bit scary earlier in this run, but it looks like he's got the rhythm back. So glad to see the 42 doing a little bit better. Oh, a little bit of a Wynn getting a little bit antsy there.
Man, we talk good about somebody, and then they scare the ever-living hell out of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I thought he was wrecking coming out of turn 4 there, but he's able to hold on to it. Still trying to run down Jason Taylor. Just that back end starting to skip out a little bit on the 16. Kind of making me a little nervous. That run, or that line that Jason Taylor is running in the 15, really high up the racetrack. I believe he's the only one running that high unless they're having to make a pass. Kind of weird to see him that high at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really a good idea. I just don't think that that's really conducive to tire wear. Dover has never been a track you really want to run that high, unless you absolutely have to. I mean, if you were like on newer tires and you were really desperate to try to get past people, that would be the line I would take. But I would not do it if you were trying to save tire, that's for sure. As I do believe we're starting to see some battles coming to fruition. Keegan Sabilo is very close to catching up to the back of Brad Thacker here, as well as you see other drivers that are starting to, I think, have some struggles when it comes to tire wear. I mean, look at the fall off we're seeing here. 1.5 seconds for some drivers out here. Some guys, I think, are starting to realize that, man, tires are important.
Well, they should have known that coming in, man. If you've ever ran at Dover, you should absolutely know. It takes 5 laps, 6 laps, 7 laps, and your right front tire's chattering if you run it if you run it over 80% of your maximum, right? I feel like you really have to back off about 20-25% in any of the NASCAR vehicles at this racetrack to be able to save that right front tire. To your point, here's Garth Snyder kind of going up to that top side. We were talking about Taylor doing that just a moment ago. I think it's a really good line if you're going defensive. Man, Sabilo gets crazy loose trying to get by Thacker. It's a really good line if you're going defensive, but you got to run it really hard to make it a good line. And then, to your point, you just run off that right front tire, and then you're dead in the water. Oh, man, Thacker with a cutback move, trying to get back past Sabilo here for 5th.
Yeah, big crossover from the 56. Can he get past here? I don't know. I think Sabilo knew exactly what he was doing. Oh, it looks like Sabilo is going to he's going to be clear here. But no, back when the NASCAR side of iRacing used to have unlimited sets of tires, this would be one of those tracks. You'd run 5 laps, come right down and get a fresh set of tires. This would be one of those kind of tracks. This place burns them up. And so yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that, you're going to see a lot of guys that are learning some lessons here tonight. Luckily, though, they're going to have Daytona next week to kind of clear the palate.
Yeah, definitely no tire saving at Daytona. You don't need any tire management at that racetrack. Now, you need a ton of tire management at Dover. And you know who's really good at managing things? Blackstone Management Partners. They guarantee an unrivaled one-on-one approach with every client, providing them the solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communications, talent management, and event management. Working with our clients, we not only use traditional, but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, experimental marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit https://www.bsmpartners.com. They will not teach you how to manage your tires on iRacing, unfortunately, but for everything else I just mentioned, they are top tier. So please give Blackstone Management Partners a call.
Hey, we got a battle starting to come to fruition here. Nathan Meyer and Brian Lorenzo battling for this second place position. Of course, Meyer has been, last time by, a 10th faster than Lorenzo. So you can see he knows exactly what he's doing in that Crown Royal machine. I do believe that was actually in honor of his father who passed recently. So we definitely want to offer our condolences still, as he's got it on the back deck lid.
Yeah, I believe that he said last week that he was going to be running that tribute paint scheme all year long. Great to see that. Well, not that sounds terrible,
yeah,
but great to see that he's running that paint scheme in loving memory. Heartbreaking, just given what happened, but love to see him, being able to show love in some type of way here on iRacing, as we see Lorenzo bounce off the wall right in front of Nathan Meyer.
Yeah, that had to be a little bit of a scary experience as well. We have a lap car getting really, really loose. So lap traffic already starting to come into play here on lap 53. James Harris right now out in the lead. He's got about a 2-second lead on Brian Lorenzo as the battle's still heating up for second place. Now, lap times have started to equalize a little bit here for our leader, as well as Brian Toole. I'll tell you what, he has been looking fantastic. Brian Toole up in the top 5 right now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the 22 of Toole over this commercial break just to see if he continues to wind that gap down to the top 3. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Currently, the title sponsors leading the way here with James Harris in that first place position. I'm Austin Edstrom alongside my co-commentator Brian Britt, and behind the production booth, we've got Austin Derbyshire, who is way better than anybody Fox Sports has. But James Harris leading the way here on lap 60, coming to take lap 61. Holding that 2.2 second gap over Nathan Meyer. Has newer tires than Meyer, but Meyer is starting to run that gap down. It was 2.4, 2.5 not too long ago. We're looking at under 2.2 at this point.
Yeah, it could be one of two things here. It could be either that back spoiler starting to play havoc on his tires, or it could be that maybe he drove it a little too hard to get the lead. We'll have to see exactly what's going on here, especially after these guys get some fresh sets of tires on their cars. But maybe even James Harris is starting to get some dirty air. That could be hurting him as well. Maybe he's slowing down because of the lap traffic. Last time by, he was a little bit faster than Meyer,
hey,
so this is curious.
As soon as I say something, Meyer loses a 10th and a half.
So I don't know.
Ridiculous, man. I appreciate that, Nathan. I think he was listening in, or maybe James Harris was listening in and was like, okay, I just got to push a little bit faster for a couple laps. I don't know. But looking back at Andrew Hale, he's kind of recovered from having to take that pit stop up to P4. Tool has kind of stagnated at that 4.7 second gap. We saw him around there before the before the commercial break. And I gotta say, you look to be a little bit more right in terms of the cautions. I thought we were gonna get a good caution spree. I thought we were gonna get a decent green flag run at some point, but I thought we were gonna continue to get cautions for a little while. But we have spread out a little bit, and we have gotten a pretty good green flag run going here on lap 64.
Yeah, I do believe we got us a pretty good green run. We got green flag stops. Brandon Ball has elected to come down pit road. He was actually one of the faster cars on the longer run, so this is kind of a surprise from Ball. Well, actually, maybe this is not very much of a surprise. You got to keep in mind the fuel window, 67 to 70 laps. This is about a little bit early, but still about what you'd expect. So he's on, I do believe, the two-stop strategy that for sure. While other drivers like Harris, probably going to try to see if he can one-stop this race.
That is a little weird, though. I wouldn't expect him to pit quite this early because we had the, what, was it 3 or 4 cautions? I mean, he could have saved a good bit of gas under those caution periods. Probably could have stretched the stint out to about 75 to 77 through those caution periods. So I'm surprised to see him come down this early. I feel like under that strategy, maybe the best thing to do would have been, pushing it to 77, taking a full tank of gas, taking the 4 tires. And if this thing kept going in green, you could just take 2 and a splash of gas on your last pit stop and pick up some time. But I feel like coming in right there at lap 64, 65 area might just be a little bit too early to make that stick.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's going to have such better lap times, and I think that could be a big deal as well. I mean, the thing is about Dover, you know, it's one of those tracks where you see fall off, you know, is a lot. I mean, a second and a half is a lot of fall off. And if you come in a little bit early and you're able to gain some time, I mean, this could be a huge deal. I mean, look how much faster Ball is compared to everybody around him. He just drove right by, I do believe, a couple of these guys.
But this is the slowest pit road on the entire surface,
true.
right? You've got to crawl all the way down that front straightaway. He's lost 2 laps. Doesn't matter how fast he is compared to everybody. If he's going to lose that much time and still has to make another pit stop, that's a tough ask there for
That's a good
Brandon
point.
Ball.
That's a really good point. That is an excellent, astute observation, if you will. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's definitely something I didn't consider. You know, he did lose 2 laps. That's quite a lot to lose. So we'll have to see if he's able to make up enough to maybe get one of those laps back. I don't know. Eventually, everybody's going to have to come down very soon, though, especially the guys that did not pit during those cautions.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Do you have your thesaurus out? Sounded like you looked up good point in the thesaurus there and came up with like 3 different ways to say it. I mean, that was kind of impressive.
No, I just, I don't know. Yeah, I just have my thesaurus sitting here.
No, I was about to really harp on your high level of intelligence for even having a thesaurus on your bookshelf. I mean, that's impressive.
Oh man, you're funny. I love calling these races with you, Austin.
It gets just a little bit strung out, and I like picking on you. It's a little fun, you know.
Yeah, no, I like it, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it. We do have some. Yeah, oh yeah, that 42 Bascom, our producer, just said that's a good-looking car. Reminds me of the Larson's whenever he was with Ganassi.
Did he ever run a black one though? This is sharp. Like that is sharp as hell, man.
It's not as sharp when it's blinking, but yeah.
That's true. I got it, and he's got the door scraped off a little bit on the right side. You can't even see the 4. He's number 2 if you're in the stands instead of 42, so that's a little tough. But
I'll tell you who's fast. Hale, man. He has been real good on the long run. And this is not a surprise. Hale has always been a good long run driver. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's on new tires because remember he spent a lot of time on pit road but did not actually stop in his box.
Yeah, I don't think he took new tires. And this late in the run, it's interesting because I feel like that outside line's starting to come in a little bit more. Most people have been running the inside a lot, and it's been heating up the inside of the racetrack. We're still not completely caught up with the entire track heating and exactly how that affects every car at every single racetrack. So I think that we could be seeing that here with the track temp still being over 100 degrees. A lot of guys have been running that bottom of the racetrack the entire time. We're seeing Andrew Hale move up and find speed later in the run. I think that's something that we got to watch out for later.
That's that dynamic track probably, playing some sort of role here. I mean, of course, we're seeing lately with the new updates and things like that, we're seeing that the rubber being specifically laid down in certain positions on this racetrack, and that could be something that's helping out Hale.
Yeah.
And maybe he's searching, maybe he's looking, and it seems like it's working. I mean, look at the lap times. He is on the same amount of tires as Hale, that everybody is, and somehow he's still able to run these quicker laps. He's the fastest guy on the track.
He is flying, man. And Sabilo was using the top of the racetrack too, and we were harping on Taylor in the 15 earlier for doing it. I felt like it was a little early on the new tires where you could really wrap the bottom and use the grip in them. But now that it's gotten to that point where the inside is heated up so much, and we talked about the dynamic track being a little bit different than it was months ago. This is our first trip to Dover, at least my first trip to Dover since the dynamic track has come along. I think we're seeing that as the tires get older, man, that outside groove has some speed. Andrew Hale is coming.
Well, the thing is will it continue to have speed, though? Just like, you see at dirt tracks and things like that. With a dynamic track like that, the more rubber that gets laid down up there, it might start to not be a good line anymore. At some point, you might see these guys have to go back down to the bottom, just like you see at a dirt track.
That's an astute observation. That's a good point.
Hey, you just did. But yeah, Hale is looking fast. Look at that, 24.8. He has been hitting those time after time, as we of course have seen some drivers that have elected to come down pit road. I do believe Jason Taylor's coming down right now.
I just look so tidy coming around turns 3 and 4, and that is such a difficult corner to come off straight and not even flirt with the fence. And Andrew Hale is getting off of these corners with a perfectly straight wheel just about, because he's using all of that banking up to that top groove, cutting it down, and being able to use, he's off the throttle so much in the center of the corner, maybe even tapping the brakes a little bit through the center to get the nose to rotate, and it just seems to effortlessly float down to the bottom of the racetrack to where he can just get on the gas with a straight wheel and pick up a ton of time, as we've got Tool in to pit road along with Thacker.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that some of these other drivers out here are you got people in their ears saying, hey, are you seeing what Hale's doing? And they're probably trying they're going to try to replicate what he's doing. Got to, because I mean he looks flawless with what he's doing on this racetrack right now.
Oh,
a little bit of a lock up there, I do believe.
That was Hale. He's trying to get everything, man.
Yeah. Now, of course, Hale and Meyer have a little bit of some beef here. But I'll tell you, we shouldn't be surprised about Andrew Hale. Hale last season was just consistent, so consistent. The guy was a top 5 machine last year.
Yeah, and he's kind of making himself known for that again. I mean, he finished 4th last week. He's running, was it 2nd in the points, only 2 points behind our championship leader. So Andrew Hale has put together a quietly great season. As we do pull up the points, yeah, Sabilo, last week's winner, able to jump him for that points lead, but if Hale just continues to nickel and dime these top 5s, he's going to be perfectly fine. And heck, with the pace that we saw at the end of that first run, if this thing runs green to the end of this thing, I wouldn't be surprised to see Andrew Hale in victory lane.
No, I don't think that's not a far stretch. I think that he's been so good on the long run. If he can continue to maintain that, yeah, I think he's got something here.
So
now,
James Harris is going to get new tires. Our producer's going to point that out. But I would like to say, Andrew Hale had older tires than James Harris this entire run, and he ended up being way quicker at the end of it than James Harris. So I do believe that Harris is going to be a little bit of a sit and duck at the ending of this thing. He's going to come down pit road. He's going to lose the lead, period, because he stayed out so long. Now, he will have newer tires than everybody else, but it's not going to be as big of an advantage as it was on that restart. So it's all going to be about how well does James Harris save those tires, and if he takes a fast repair for that damage, how much does it actually help him by repairing it? I don't think it's going to be much, because he looked pretty daggum quick, regardless of the damage. I really don't think that damage is hampering him.
I don't know, and the thing, if it is causing him, some trouble with his handling, if it has been affecting him at all, it could be a negative thing in order to fix that car, because he will be used to how that car's driving now, that truck. Looks like we got somebody just jumping to the pits here, so something or when having some issues pitting. But I think there's a lot of variables here. Harris might be used to how that truck's handling. Variable. Here we go. Here we go. Go ahead.
I love that word, man. Look.
Variable.
My boss at work was talking about building. Oh, the 47 at Kinnison comes down pit road from third, spins it out. Not going to bring out the caution. But as I was saying, my boss from work says library. Talking about building a library at work. And so you said veritable, and it just brought back all those memories. But our race leader, James Harris, coming down pit road as well. So we're looking at Kinnison. Letting everybody go so he can get down to pit road. Just comes in a little bit too hot. Hits that banking change. It's a tough pit road to get to. Heck, it wasn't even the banking change, man. It looked like it's just under braking.
He's lucky he didn't hit the wall. That actually worked out well for him because he could have easily hit that wall.
Could have been worse for sure. James Harris now crawling down pit road. And we got to pay attention to Nathan Meyer and Andrew Hale. I think James Harris gets passed by both of them. Now, he'll be quicker. And we see Andrew Hale going back to unlap himself, right? So that's not the time to get the lead. But James Harris has just now stopped into his box. He's going to be stuck in that box for 14 seconds at least, and then still have to crawl around the apron to get back onto the racetrack after that blue cone. I think that Andrew Hale and Nathan Meyer are going to pass James Harris, and they're going to have a pretty sizable gap. James Harris is still in the box, and Andrew Hale's going on by right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we'll have to see how big of a gap they can build and how the new tires is going to help Harris. What does the damage do? Looks like has taken that fast spare spoiler. Looks straight as he comes out, and I do believe he is going to be quite a bit behind.
Wow.
Actually, Myers is on the lead. Meyer is on the lead lap, and he's not.
He's over a third of a lap behind Nathan Meyer right now. I mean, he's got what, 8 lap fresher tires? But that's a lot, man. I would have just taken that little bit of an advantage, take the 2 or 3 lap fresher tires and keep the race lead. Instead, he stayed out for a long time, and he gave up a ton of time on the racetrack.
Yeah, but we also got to keep in mind, I mean, 8 laps, that doesn't sound like a lot, but at Dover, that is quite a bit. I mean, at some point, Meyer is going to be hitting probably about a few tenths slower of lap times than Harris, and that just continuing to be eaten out of that gap. I mean, that could be enough, but then again, we're coming up close to 60 laps to go. So time is running out.
That was really blurry on my end. I'm going to need my producer to tell me how many laps of difference of tires it was. Was it really 8?
Seven, I do believe.
Okay, so that's even less. Only a 7 lap difference between the guys. That's not a lot. I mean, it is a lot in terms of he's going to run him down, but he gave up so much ground, man. I feel like that was a lot of ground to give up with 58 laps to go whenever we saw that Andrew Hale was the quickest guy on the long run, and he had older tires.
I think that's who we need to be really keeping our eye on is Hale and Meyer. I think those guys are going to start battling quite a bit, and that's going to be Harris's best bet. If they start battling, if Hale, I mean, they already got history. If they start battling it and get a little rowdy, that's going to help out Harris.
How awesome is that last week we got these are the 2 guys that wrecked each other for second place whenever Nathan Meyer looked like he was going to win that thing. Andrew Hale got into the back of him, spun him halfway around. Nathan Meyer recovered to end up passing him back for third at the line on the last lap, but was still frustrated. He showed it after the checkered flag by turning hard left against Andrew Hale after the race was over. We heard the frustration in his voice in the interview. So we know that there's animosity between these guys from last week, and now Andrew Hale's going to have to try to get past the guy that he wrecked last week.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I'm sure those guys are frustrated with each other, but I'll tell you who's not frustrated. These fans, these audiences out here. This produces some of the best entertainment on the sim when you watch 2 guys that are really quick compared to one another, and they get a little frustrated. I mean, those kind of battles, you can't. That's like watching gold. I love watching racing like that. I mean, last week's racing was so entertaining.
Michigan always is, man. I mean, I hate driving Michigan, but this is awesome. This is more of a driver's track, man. Michigan is, don't get me wrong, you got to save tires. Sorry. Like I swallowed something. You gotta save tires at Michigan, but it's not quite the same driver's racetrack on the sim as something like Dover, something like Bristol. This is, I mean, you gotta be talented to run quick around here. Oh man, Growler Snyder into the inside wall by pit road. Super slow on the apron, brings it back up on the racetrack. Caution's not gonna come out. We're gonna stay green.
Ooh, almost. You don't know, it could still come out. Look at him. Woo! He goes back down onto the apron. I don't know if he slides back up in front of somebody. That could be a dangerous cocktail. But no, I mean, I think that this really speaks to the talent level of Meyer, Hale, Harris. I mean, these guys, you know, Sabila, all these guys have been so good at all sorts of different tracks. It's like, I don't think people at home that are watching it might not be familiar that much with iRacing realize how different these tracks have been. I mean, going from a Michigan to a Dover is like night and day. I mean, you don't, you know, a lot of times you can be good at a track like Michigan and show up at Dover and it's completely different.
That's an absolutely great point. And one way that I'm going to kind of highlight that is Sabilo won last week, and he's just kind of sitting in 7th right now. I think he's probably about 5th, 6th fastest. No, I think he's going to be good on the long run. He kind of put himself behind with some strategy, and he could definitely work himself back into the top 5. But he doesn't really have that same pace that we saw last week at Michigan. Sorry, I said that it's a driver's racetrack this week and last week wasn't, so I don't mean to say Sabilo's a bad driver. That's totally not what I'm saying. But it's just two totally different styles of racetrack.
No, 100%. And my point was just saying how good Meyer and Hale are, that they can be back to back. I mean, they're always consistent, and all the vastly, you know, the big different tracks that we have here. I mean, in this series, to see them able to consistently be in, you know, contention for wins speaks to their talent level.
Harris is catching him, though. Got to point out, he caught him by about half a second that last lap. I'd be worried that he's catching him too fast, though. Again, if he runs out those good, or the good of those Goodyear Eagles, he's not going to complete the pass. He's not going to be able to even get to him if he runs him down too quick. Now, I say that he's catching him half a second a lap right now. If it continues that pace, he's not going to have a problem. But I just don't think that pace is sustainable. I mean, that's really, really quick that he's catching up to these two guys. But we have hit the 2/3 way of the race. Everything's kind of died down a little bit. So I think we're going to take our last commercial break during the action, get it out of the way so that we can go the last 40 laps. Green flag.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We are back on Grid Vision with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, and we are back under the yellow flag for the first time in 80 laps. I'm Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Brian Britt with Austin Derbyshire behind the production booth. Gonna have to take a quick little replay here after the pit stop cycle of what happened, but we need to see who comes out of pit road first. Oh, just kidding. We're gonna go to the replay. You do belong on Fox, actually, Austin. We're looking at Bascom going down into turn 1. We're not looking at Bascom going down to turn 1. Well, Something happened.
Yeah, something definitely happened. I think he was having some sort of technical woes here. Might have gotten loose. Looks like he's a little bit out of sorts right here. I think he might have accidentally triggered it. I don't think that was actually based on an accident.
What in the world? Okay.
I think
Well,
that
that
was
was
kind of a little bit of a glitchy caution there because of his technical issues and he slowed down. I think
huh.
that might have triggered it.
That was a weird one, but I do got to point out, James Harris has taken his last set of tires, and because that he's kind of screwed himself with that first caution now, or
Yeah.
at least he potentially could have. Because if we get another caution in 25 laps, guess what? Everybody is coming down to take their last set of tires, and James Harris is going to be left on the racetrack, and he will be a sitting duck. So he's got to hope and pray another caution does not come out, and if it does, it's only within the first 5 laps of this run.
I'll tell you who that caution really helped out quite a bit. Brandon Ball. Brandon Ball was up in like the top 5 on older tires, was dropping quickly when it came to his lap times, and that caution kind of put him on the same playing
Ooh.
field with everybody around him.
Good catch. We were talking about him coming in really early under that first pit stop and how we were a little bit sketched out by that. But it ends up being a stroke of genius after that caution comes out here on about lap 104. Puts himself solidly in the top 5. Great point. Brandon Ball all of a sudden puts himself up to the front of this thing with a chance to win it.
Yeah, no, I think he might have a solid shot at the top 5. He could even win. I mean, we'll see. I mean, this could be a very big confidence booster here for that driver. Of course, he's got a lot of top talent around him. We'll see what Keegan Sabilo is willing to do. I mean, look at George Young. He's up in 6th right now. So we got a lot of really talented drivers up in the top 10. Looking forward to seeing what this battle is going to look like. Of course, we talk about it all the time. This is probably going to be this is going to breed some more cautions, I would assume. We'll see how that plays out, though. Meyer and Hale, I can't wait to see this title fight. And Harris, he's going to try to find his place in it, too.
Yeah, after this green flag, we're going to have 42 laps to crown a champion here at Dover International Speedway. And we know plenty of champions because this broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. We're going to see if they can power James Harris to a victory here. He's going to be starting in that 3rd place position, 2nd car on the inside row.
Yep, looks like we're getting ready to go green here in just a moment as these guys file through 3 and 4. Now, we've seen that bottom line be pretty much the best line on these restarts. Can Hale do something, though, on that top side?
No.
We've seen that top line work once.
On the initial start. Unless he times this perfectly, unless he is in Nathan Meyer's brain, there's no way he times this. There's no way he gets the lead away from him. But the green flag's about to come out, and Nathan Meyer gets to the gas a little bit better in the Geico restart zone. Going to easily be able to hang on to the race lead, but now it's going to be a side-by-side fight for that 2nd place spot. Not quite. Andrew Hale closes the door on James Harris entering 1.
Yeah, what a move there for Hale. Definitely put his nose or his back bumper right in front of Harris there. Was able to keep him behind him. Keegan Sabilo quickly gets by Brandon Ball. He's now up into that 4th place position. Ball going to try to hold on to the top 5 as George Young closes in.
Yeah, George Young looking really feisty there a little bit further back to 22. I don't know if he had did Toole have an issue on pit road? I'm surprised to see him drop back all the way to the 9th place position. He was doing really well earlier, just about side by side coming out of the corner. Squeezes out the 42 of, or sorry, not the 42 of Bascom. I believe that's a lap truck. Yeah, that's John Lucido in the 73 that he squeezed out there coming out of turn number 2. Lucido involved in a bunch of incidents here earlier in the event from trucks spinning in front of him, but we got a side-by-side battle with Thacker. Jason Taylor side-by-side, but the caution's out.
That last time by, we saw some of the fastest laps of the race. We saw, looks like we got some, there it is. John Lucido getting involved in something here. Not sure exactly what happened. We're going to take a look back at the replay. And it looks like Bascom and him maybe getting involved here. Looks like Bascom tries to take the high side. A little bit of air in between those two drivers. Kind of some magnetic strips, I guess, on their side.
I can't tell if it was like, if Lucido turned in late to the corner, or if Bascom turned in early, or if it was netcode contact. Like, I'm trying to look for the hump, right? That you kind of
Yeah, you can see right there that the 42 did come down and
can we get an
catch
in
the
car of the
73.
42? I'm just trying to see like how late this was entering the corner. Like, if they're, I don't know, it's really close to the turn-in point, so it's hard for me to tell. That okay, it's net code contact. Look, you saw Lucido turn hard right, and I guarantee you he did not turn hard right entering the corner. I really think that it was net code at first, and Bascom turned left to react to that. I mean, it was just so aggressive how hard to the right the 73 turned on the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be a caution, and that leaves.
I
I
love
do
net code.
believe we have. I do believe 12 drivers on the lead lap at the moment, of course. So, I'm surprised we're seeing some, attrition kind of in this race towards the end.
Well, that ghost caution comes out, and it's cautions breed cautions. I know that's just the one, and like I mentioned before that restart, the caution needed to come out quick for James Harris because he doesn't have any tires left, and just about everybody else in the field does. So that quick caution at least makes it where it's not the end of the world for him that the caution came out. I mean, it hurts because he's got less time to catch the two in front of him and pass them. But if this would have came out with 13 to go, 17 to go, 20 to go, he'd, like we said earlier, he'd be a sitting duck. He would have no chance at winning this thing. And we've seen James Harris get bit by the bad luck bug over and over and over this year. I would hate it for him if it happened one more time just off of taking that set of tires here in the early going.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know he's been going after some wins. I think if he just gets a consistent finish and keeps staying consistent, he'll continue to move up the leaderboard. So I think that's what his main goal should be for tonight's race. Of course, knowing Harris, the 55, he wants to win. He wants to win, but he's got some guys that also want to win that are all around him right now.
Anytime you're in a position, anytime that you put yourself in position through a race to be at the front, all you're thinking is that checkered flag. Even if you're close in the points to the front, all you're really thinking about is bringing home that W, bringing home the checkered flag, bringing home the trophy. Now you get down to the end of the year and you really start paying attention to the points and points racing to make sure you get as high of a finish in the points as possible. Maybe you think a little bit differently. You settle for second place because your championship rivals back in seventh. But in the early going, you just think about winning. And here tonight, Andrew Hale and Nathan Meyer have looked like the two that I think have the best chance to do it. Obviously, James Harris has been ridiculously quick, but he just doesn't have the track position now. And the way that Andrew Hale has been having these restarts on the outside, it seems like he's going to be just enough to hold on to second. He's not going to be able to challenge for first going down into turn one, but it looks like that outside groove has just enough momentum around 1 and 2 to be able to hold on to the position.
Well, he's also been, Hale's been really, really good about maximizing his momentum in that middle of the top groove. So he's been able to really angle himself off the corners of really straight runs. So he could be able to use that to his advantage. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get side by side with Meyer immediately. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of plays out. But I do know. I think you were talking about these guys being so concerned with wins. I think that, yes, of course, they're concerned with wins. But I feel like the smart person will be about being consistent. So I feel like if I was down there and I was running, and if I was as talented as some of these guys down there, I would be concerned about just finishing in the top 5 every race. I mean, because then at the end of the season, that's when I can worry about trying to get that dub.
Well, and that sets you up really, really pretty for that championship race. If you finish every race in the top 5, you're going to be in the championship hunt, period. You may not far and away win it, but you're going to at least be there challenging everybody. And here with we're going to have 35 laps to go at the green flag. It's Nathan Meyer, it's Andrew Hale, it's James Harris, and it's Keegan Sabilo. 4 guys we have seen in the top 5 time and time again here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. But we're coming to the green flag with 35 laps to go. Nathan Meyer, first to the gas. Ooh, Andrew Hale gets a little squirrely there on the throttle, but he's going to be able to hold on to that second place position over James Harris.
Yeah, Meyer with a fantastic restart. I know he's got to be hoping to get that car to victory lane. I mean, of course, we talked about his father. He just recently lost his father. That paint scheme, I know he would love to be able to dedicate a race win to his late father. So I'm sure he's really going for that. And, I'll be honest, I am rooting for this 24, but I know that the 4, and oh, look at this, big moves as Harris throws a mean block on Keegan Sabilo, but Sabilo not going to be denied. He moves up to third.
Man, we talk about Keegan Sabilo saving tires. This isn't the same Keegan Sabilo. He got his brother in the seat or something because he just drove around the outside of James Harris there in 1 and 2. Great move, even whenever Harris went defensive. I think Harris had to check up a little bit heavier than he expected due to going so defensive going down into turn 1, but it opened the door for Sabilo, and he wrapped that thing right around the outside. He's now up to P3, honestly with a chance to save his tires a little bit, to maybe mount a charge on Andrew Hale and Nathan Meyer as this thing winds down. While we're at the later stages of this race, it's still important to save those tires for the first 5-10 laps, because if you don't, you will still be a sit and duck over the course of the last 10.
No, I definitely agree. As we see, of course, Bascom, I do believe, getting into the outside wall coming out of turn 2. Looks like they're going to be able to keep that green, though, as we see some stuff happening back here. Brian Toole, I do believe, trying to hold off Brad Thacker, as Thacker's trying to take the top side here, and Toole covering the bottom.
Yeah, it's that 7th place position coming off the corner, though. It was a little sketchy last time. Thacker got a little tight coming off, and then it skipped out loose on him just on the wall. Ooh, a little bit of contact there with the 56 to the wall. 42 was also flirting with it just a little bit. That outside groove looks really, really good at this point. Oh, Toole washes up just a little bit. Has to get out of the gas, checks up his run, move Bascom up to 8th, Thacker up to 7th, and now Toole in the 22 is under fire from Lorenzo, who's fallen all the way back to 10th himself.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fast guys that are starting to find their speed. I think there's a lot of guys. I mean, Bascom hit his fastest lap last time by, so he's starting to really, I think, get a rhythm in that race car. You see Lorenzo. I mean, think about Lorenzo. This guy qualified on the pole. He's been kind of struggling since then. He's going to be trying to get his way back up through this field. I don't know if Dover's treating him right here tonight.
Yeah, he's going to move up to the 9th place position right there. Tight pass over Toole. Toole might just be saving his stuff a little bit, but I would hate to be dropping back as far as he is, even if you're saving, because we don't have that many laps left. You need to save a little bit. You don't need to save a lot of it. He's saving quite a bit from what it seems like over the course of the past couple laps. Dropped 3 positions in just 2 laps. But up front, they're really not saving too much. Meyer and Hale are going after it. Sabilo, I think, is holding back just a little bit. I really think he's going to kick it into high gear as soon as we get about that 10 lap to go mark. It's just passing him is a whole lot different than catching him, even on the newer or on better tires. If he saves them a little bit better, yeah, you can catch them, but with the dirty air, it is such a difficult track to make that pass. You have to do a really good job for the first couple laps saving those tires.
Yeah, this is not a traditional short track either. You know, Keegan's a short track specialist, and I think this is definitely not what you would consider to be kind of the normal short track. So he might not be as strong here as we might give him credit for, but he could be as well. Could he be trying to take it a little bit easier? That could very well be a thing here. So we're coming up quickly to 25 laps to go as he's trying to hold off Harris. But look at Ball. Ball looking really good. He's up to 5th, chasing down Harris. Jason Taylor looking really strong here in that 15 as well. I do believe he got his first win just the last couple weeks, I do believe.
Yeah, he got the W at Talladega, getting that push from his teammate who was running in 2nd place, Andrew Hale. What you were saying about Sabilo, though, is absolutely accurate. This track, Dover, it is kind of short compared to all the other tracks that we race in NASCAR just about. But to your point, you were talking about him being a short track guy. Typically, the short track guys are better under braking and trail braking. And while you use that a little bit here, it's really a drag of the brakes. You're not really slowing down the truck all that much. You might drag it just to kind of turn the nose of the car. And that, I feel like, is not quite the same. Oh man, he gets hard into the wall coming out of turn 4. Obviously, that has nothing to do with the brakes. Just too heavy on the throttle coming out of turn 4. Gets a little bit too wide, and that's going to allow the front 2 to scoot away.
Yeah, he might have been listening to us. It's like I'm talking trash, bang, hit the wall. But yeah, the front 2 going to pull away about there. They got about a 10th of a lap faster that last time by. Now Hale, ooh, that was close. Hale, you could tell he is very much motivated to make something happen on Meyer. Now, of course, on the longer runs, Hale was the strongest on the racetrack. So I'm wondering if he can make that groove work again. But I don't think Meyer's going to be easy to pass. I mean, Meyer is not going to be cutting that for any breaks at all. You see Brandon Ball and Jason Taylor battling for 5th place. It's like Taylor, I think, is going to take that spot.
Yeah, after last week, I mean, even if last week didn't happen, Nathan Meyer was not just going to roll over and give the spot up. But especially after last week, he's going to be mirror driving like Ross Chastain at Phoenix. I'm telling you, he is going to do everything he can to keep this 4 behind him. And he's trying it right now. Oh, Hale just about taps the outside wall. May have actually scraped it a little bit going into 3 as we've got Hulawig coming down pit road.
That was scary. Hulawig slowed down quite a bit, and that almost caused those guys to be in somewhat of some danger. Luckily,
Oh, they're wrecking on the front
oh,
straightaway.
there we go.
Hard into the inside wall, I believe, touching Amir Bascom. No caution. Lorenzo sideways on the front straightaway. Finally, the caution comes out. That's going to kill James Harris's race.
Yeah, this is going to probably provoke most of the drivers to come down pit road and probably take their last set of tires. So, Bascom hard into the wall outside of turn number 4. And unfortunately, Lorenzo, just nothing he could really do. Pole sitter, heavy damage.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got that fast repair still
Right there.
behind the wall of the 99, but you can tell the 42 just was trying to hold on to that position, got onto the throttle way too early and destroyed the fence. There's a little bit of netco contact whenever he came back off the fence, but he was going to hit him regardless, to be honest. So, Bascom has just gone hard into the inside wall, entering turn number 3 under caution. Under braking, second time we've seen somebody make a mistake under braking, under caution, entering turn 3. He has destroyed the front end of that thing.
I wonder if this is because of frustration. What has provoked this?
All of a sudden, I just heard a big crash. There was a big stack up in front of him. Oh, he's just entering too fast.
Trying to avoid these other drivers. Yep, just smashed the brake to try to, probably to try to avoid these guys in front of him. Luckily, he hit the wall and not the other guys. That could have been a whole lot worse.
And luckily, it was before the pit stop instead of after the pit stop. So all the damage he had from the first wreck and that one all get fast repaired. So it's almost like the second one didn't even happen. As long as he's got a fast repair, he might have used it already.
That's what I say. Maybe not. I think he's already used his fast repair.
Oh, yep. He's in the box taking tires, and the hood is not fixed. So I think you're right.
Yeah, well, this is curious. And I think the biggest story here, though, is Harris. Harris is going to be – he has got to be sweating right now. He has got to be like, oh, my goodness, what am I going to do?
He's screwed. I mean, I hate it for James Harris because this poor man, I mean, goodness gracious. Texas, just, he led the entire thing, was racing side by side for the race lead late, made a little bit of contact with the car under him. I don't know if he had to get on the gas at all or if it just slowed him down just a little bit, but the driver behind him didn't show a lot of restraint under 10 laps to go, understandably a little bit, but he gave him a little bit of a bumper and junked the 55. And then at Michigan last week, led the entire thing and just could not bring it home with the W. So I'm feeling like this is going to be another one of those things for James Harris where it's just it's going to be on the edge of his fingertips, but he's not going to be able to get it done.
But you know what though? Harris made a decision in this race. You can't really be like, oh, I feel so sorry for him. He made the decision to come down on lap 20. No one said, hey, Harris, you need to do this. No, he decided to do that. So, I mean, yes, I know he's had bad luck. I don't know if this is luck. This is just bad decision making.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with that. And, you know, even whenever he came down for the pit stop, we were talking about it, and we were like, that's too early, right? We were calling it out that it was too early to take that tire set because we thought we were going to have a lot of cautions. We really haven't had a lot of cautions, but it still worked out poorly for him. So
yeah,
I think that just goes to show that it really was just way too early to take tires like that. But
he's got 8 drivers that are on newer tires behind him. This is not going to be good.
He's got Thacker at least as a buffer, but the problem is Thacker's got old tires, and we've seen how difficult it is to restart on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if with the old tires, Thacker spins that thing.
Yeah,
no hate to Thacker, but it's so hard to restart on the outside with 20, 30 lap old tires. So we're going to come to green though. 17 laps to go. James Harris on the front with Brad Thacker right to his outside. They were lining up double file, and I did not see the pace car. So we're actually going to go around one more time. They kind of fooled me there, and somehow I'm blind and didn't see the pace car. I guess I belong on Fox.
Race. He's racing too. How about that?
Yeah, I belong on Fox, it seems. Me and Darby are getting hired tomorrow since we suck.
You know, because I love you guys, I'll go with you.
I mean, you suck too, so that works.
Oh, okay. I'll have you know I wanted Iowa.
Oh, to be fair, the producers over there definitely couldn't say that. Oh boy, I'm gonna get a cease and desist letter in the mail.
Yeah, Grid Vision canceled.
We all know who to blame. Fox's production crew.
Great race tonight, though. These guys have definitely been putting on an entertaining show. That's for sure. But man, I bet Harris has got to be kicking himself as we get ready to go back green. he's gonna have to hope there's some more cautions because that'll give him some time to kind of
Yeah.
get these restarts right.
Even so, I think it's going to take maybe a 1 green flag lap, and he's going to get bashed by Meyer. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Going to come down to the last couple restarts, though. Coming to 16 laps to go. I believe the pace car's off this time. James Harris through the restart zone. Easily takes off. Thacker has a really tough time on the outside. Stacks up Sabilo. Stacks up Taylor. James Harris is going to get away, but Nathan Meyer is going to be hot on his heels, coming around the outside on the newer tires. Nathan Meyer in the 24, flying around the outside for the race lead.
Yeah, this is no competition at all. And look at there, here comes Hale. He's going to drive right by as well.
Oh, no, he's not.
There's the 4. Hale drifting it through the corner. Oh, gets hit in the rear end by Brandon Ball. We stayed green with 15 to go.
What a save from Andrew Hale. There's no reason he should have hung on to that race truck. Able to keep the 4 going straight. Now he's side by side with his teammate, Jason Taylor, in the 15 for that final podium position. But you got to think those rear tires are chewed to hell after that slide in turn 4.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. You see that Harris just gets tight through 3 and 4, comes up the track, touches the 4 just oh so slightly, but it's enough to turn him sideways. And yes, what a save. You got to stay up in the top 5 after that. That's nuts, I got to say. And good, I mean, Brandon Ball did touch the back of the 4, but he did show a lot of patience right there as well to not hit him as hard as he could have.
Not only did he save the 4's race, but he saved his own race, and now he's looking to maybe put himself on the podium. Brandon Ball, with a brilliant strategy call in the middle of this race, gets a little tight through 1 and 2 there from the 17, but ends up being a brilliant strategy call in the middle of the race, short pitting a little bit, gaining a ton of track position, and then getting that caution later to put him back up to the front of the field, or keep him at the front of the field, and now he's solidified himself into the top 5 and looking for more, but he has fallen off of those 2 teammates just a little bit as Hale, I think he's cooled those tires down just a little bit. Now he's fighting back for the 3rd place spot over the 15.
I'll tell you, if I was in Jason Taylor's shoes, I'd be a little bit worried. Because, we know how fast Hale is. And I'm not saying Taylor's not fast. I'm just saying that Hale is a top runner. I'd be a little worried having him behind me, but I guarantee you that Hale's probably in his ear saying, hey, man, just calm down, run your race, I'll get by you.
I could see Taylor just letting them go if they do get side by side since they are teammates. But Taylor's running his own race. They're coming to 10 laps to go, and he's sitting on a podium position. This could be his 2nd podium of the year. That's a huge deal, being able to come up and talk and get interviewed at the end of this thing. So I guarantee you, Jason Taylor's not going to just roll over and give it to Andrew Hale. If they get side by side, though, I wouldn't be surprised if he does just kind of be a little bit of a good teammate, give him that spot. But you can see he's running him off the corner, getting that run on the outside. You know who's smiling ear to ear right now, though? Nathan Meyer. His competition just got absolutely taken out through the middle of 3 and 4 on that restart by a guy that they really weren't competing with because he had old tires. So Nathan Meyer, after what happened last week, has got to feel like karma bit Andrew Hale in the butt tonight.
He probably does. He feels exactly like that right now. And if that had not happened to Andrew Hale, Hale would probably be up here battling with him right now. Sabilo is pretty close to the rear end of the Meyer, but it seems like Sabilo, I think, might be running out of steam. Maybe he can get up here and attack. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely time is running out. Meyer coming up to, I do believe, 7 laps to go. He's got a 4/10 of a second lead.
Have I been screaming? Because my Apple Watch just gave me a notification that said that I've been listening to stuff at above 90 decibels. So I guess I've been yelling for the last 10 laps because it told me that it's not safe for my ears. I think I'm okay.
Your own voice is not safe for your ears. You're too loud for your own ears.
And we're not even at the finish yet. If Sabilo catches Nathan Meyer, I'm going to be at 150 decibels. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that for sure to be able to hear that. As you see battle starting to go for 3rd. I do believe Hale has gotten by. Oh, contact with the wall for Taylor. Oh, Brandon Ball. Can he make something happen here because of the hit on the wall?
Both of them got into it, both the teammates. Ball to the inside. Look at Brandon Ball, man. Oh, goodness gracious, trying to take that 4th place away. Found himself with the track position, and he hasn't been content with it. He has tried to move forward this entire time. Kind of a breakout performance for the 17.
No, I definitely agree. I think he's looking really, really strong here at Dover. I think he's made all the right decisions to get himself a top 5. Now he's trying to get himself a 4th place. This is going to be a battle, though. Taylor you know, Taylor's wanting to keep this momentum going from Talladega. You know, he's been looking really good in that 15. Real close here. You can tell how desperate Ball is. He wants this spot.
Oh, look at that move! Brandon Ball, man, what is Ball? What Brandon Ball ate some freaking big Cheerios here tonight. I mean, he is throwing that. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm loving what I'm saying from Brandon Ball. I had an idea in my mind with that one. It completely exploded in the middle of it. But Brandon Ball up to 4th place. Like I said, breakout performance. He is performing unbelievably well in the 17. Huge credit to him. Just about on the podium spots. Don't think he's going to be able to get up there and challenge for it, but 4th place is nothing to scoff at here for the 17.
No, not at all. Jeff No's making some big runs in roads here. He's getting by, it looks like George Young. He's going to move up into the top 5 to battle with Jason Taylor. We're almost on 3 wide here for 5th.
There could be a wreck in this bunch, and we could bunch everybody back up for a restart. Oh, it just about happened there with the 48 cutting across the 22. Coming to 2 laps to go for these guys as the race leader is just scooting away at this point. Sabilo ran really, really hard in the early points of this run, trying to keep up with Nathan Meyer, but it just seems like Meyer was a bit of the class of the field tonight. I feel like Meyer, Andrew Hale, and Harris were all really, really close on pure pace. The class of the field tonight, but Nathan Meyer is the only one that has ran this race to perfection, taking the white flag, going through turns 1 and 2 with absolutely nobody in his rearview mirror. Coming down onto the back straightaway for the final time. The 24 of Nathan Meyer looking to win his first race of the season. We thought it should have happened last week at Michigan. It was not to be, but Nathan Meyer this week going to come off turn number 4 at Dover, and he's going to win at the Monster Mile.
Yeah, what a fantastic job. Definitely want to shout out to anybody that is a part of the Meyer family. This is one that I think is well-deserved.
Big congratulations to Nathan Meyer. Can't wait to interview him after this thing. I mean, he felt hard done last week. He gets redemption this week. I mean, and not enough to say. He mentioned in the interview last week he was going to be running that tribute paint scheme the entire year. And he comes out the very next week after he probably should have won in the tribute paint scheme. And he puts it where it should be. So, huge congratulations to Nathan Meyer. He's been the class of the field 2 weeks in a row, able to win it here at Dover. Huge congratulations to the 24. He's going to tear that thing down to make sure that it passes tech. But at this point, I don't think it matters. I mean, just a great run there from Nathan Meyer in the Crown Royal Chevy Silverado, honoring his father.
Yeah, you love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it. He's tearing it up. Well-deserved burnout right here.
But we're going to run down our final results before we throw it down to one more commercial. Race winner, Nathan Meyer. Big congratulations to the 24. Andrew Hale ends up passing Keegan Sabilo at the line, coming out of turn number 4 to take that 2nd place spot. Sabilo 3rd. Brandon Ball with the best run I've seen from him in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Hopefully we can see more from him in the 17 going forward. Jeff No in 5th place position. George Young 6th. Jason Taylor falls back to 7th. Brian Toole in 8th. Brian Lorenzo recovers to 9th. And Brad Thacker finishes 10th.
Just a terrible, terrible day for James Harris, 11th place. Ray Kennison, of course, 12th place. Tyler Meeks in 13th. Larry Fairman in 14th. 15th, Dan Hillowig. 16th, Garth Snyder. 17th, Amir Boscombe. 18th, John Lucido. 19th, Robert Wynn. And rounding out this 20-car field is Stephen Pless.
All right, that was our final rundown. Next, we're going to hit one last commercial break before we interview our top 3. Stick with us. to the champion Power Equipment Truck Series from the Dover International Speedway. We were just treated with an absolutely amazing race where Nathan Meyer was able to bring home the W there in that Crown Royal number 24. We're going to jump straight to our podium interviews, though. We're going to pull up our third place finisher, Keegan Sabilo. Keegan, it seemed like you were up front just about all night. A little bit of a strategy call on the early going, but you ended up losing that second place right at the line. What was kind of running through your mind the last couple laps as you just kind of saw Nathan Meyer start pulling away?
Yeah, I don't know if it was pretty clear tonight, but Dover is one of my worst racetracks, along with Charlotte, for trucks. I don't know why. No matter what I do in the long run, I just never can hold. So I wasn't shocked, but I knew in that position anyway. For 15 laps to go, I couldn't save. I just had to go try and do what I can. I don't know if he was saving or not, but I was just trying to make do what I can. Very happy with the third place finish because there was a time that I was worried I was going to get lopped here if it went green flag to then. I was just having a bad night tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to end up holding on to the points lead by a point over Andrew Hale. So overall, not a bad night. I think you were only 2 points ahead going in. So it's not like you lost much in the point standing. So congrats on the top three. What do you think you say you don't really know what was going wrong? You seem relatively quick on the short run, but to your point, it did seem like that right tire might have just worn off a little quick.
Yeah, I gotta find a way here around this racetrack to protect the right front, and not even just about maintaining speed, no matter whatever line. I mean, I've been just trying multiple different lines, wrapping the bottom, more in the middle, doing an arc on X. I mean, I tried almost every single thing, and it just never worked out. So I gotta find like that happy medium and see where I need to be and change. That'll be kind of the job before next season, but I got lucky here tonight getting P3, keeping that points lead. Hopefully these next 2 weeks aren't going to be too chaotic.
Well, a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill brought you home into the P3 position after winning last week, and you had a really good record points, as we're seeing on the broadcast right
Yeah.
now. What was going through your mind right there? That gives me a great question to ask. Thank you so much, Producer Darby. What was going through your mind whenever you see Andrew Hale getting turned in front of you there by James Harris whenever Harris was kind of dead in the water on the old tires?
Yeah, I saw him pushing up, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. I was assuming Hal would go like around the outside and be able to still hang on. But he just kept coming on up there. So when I saw him get into each other, I just tried to slow down a little bit, try and keep some speed, and just yank it below and hope Hal didn't slide down and get in my right front or something and collect me there. But they did a good job of saving that. That was a very interesting moment.
Well, congrats on getting through there to get your top 3 finish. Are there any shout-outs you can give here at the end of the interview?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you to all the sponsors in the car, United States Racing League, After Hours Restorations, Johnson iRacing Team, Sabilo Racing Esports, Admin Box, Just Bosco Designs, Dylan Cattell for helping with this paint scheme here. Appreciate Champion Power Equipment, everything that they do to put this on, as well as James and everyone who runs this. Thank you to you guys at Grid Vision for putting on an amazing broadcast for us to come back to. And thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Hopefully we put on a good show for you guys. And shout out to my spotter tonight. He was Carson Lucas, one of my real world racing friends. So great to have him helping tonight. He was a huge help and couldn't have done it without him.
Well, congrats on the top 3 finish. Second straight week that we've seen you in the interviews. So hopefully we can catch you again next week.
I'm hoping.
Alrighty, that was our third place finisher, Keegan Sabilo. Next up, we're going to have Brian Britt standing by with our second place finisher, Andrew Hale.
Andrew, man, what a great job for you. You had a little bit of a probably pretty scary moment there towards the end. I mean, we saw Harris on the older tires get really, really tight, touch your side there, send you sideways, but you did not let you stop you from finishing in second place. I mean, what a save. What was going through your mind right there?
I knew he was going to try to race me as hard as he could to stay up front there, but yeah, when I went in high and I seen my whole door full of yellow, I knew he was up there. So I started fading up, and it was just, he nicked me. So I just cranked it right. I do not know how I saved it, but I did.
Yeah, you also, Brandon Ball could have probably hit you harder than he did. I think he touched you a little bit, but it wasn't too hard of a hit. So you were able to work your way back up there to second place. Was that a little bit disappointing? Did you feel like you had something for Meyer there?
I wanted after that last caution to go, before that last caution to go green. I was better on the long run. I felt like at saving tires and just not putting a lot of wheel in it, using the throttle to make it turn and all that, but it didn't. it was quite a bit of cautions tonight. I was almost one of them, but we saved it.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
not gonna take the 77 there, but I was like, I got a ton of speed here off of 2. I need to take it while I can, get the points.
Well, you definitely did that. So I think you actually narrowed up the points lead just by 1 point now between you and Keegan Sobilo. And you were, to your credit, probably the best on the long run, I'd say. I mean, when we watched you earlier in the race, you were the fastest out of everybody. Everybody else was in 25-second lap range. You were hitting 24-second lap still consistently. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, it seemed like you were running a little bit more of a higher line in the entry and center, but then you kind of narrow it out on the exit so we can have a straighter exit. Was that the whole key to that?
Yeah, diamond the corner, straighten the straightaways up, get more straightaway speed. Everybody has the lift off the corner to keep from hitting the wall when you just stand in it and drive it straight up off the corner.
Well, I know a lot of drivers are going to be looking at that replay to probably see if they can figure out exactly how you did that next time so they can probably apply that. Who can we give a shout out to, Andrew, after your second place finish here?
I'd like to thank Champion for helping us put this thing on, James for scheduling all these races, Jason Taylor there for a little bit of pit strategy. I'm not good with that. I just try to do math under cautions and it don't turn out. He just tells me how many laps you got in fuel, you need to pit now, follow the leaders type thing.
Well, definitely glad you guys are good teammates. He almost had himself a good finish here tonight as well. He still did finish, I do believe, 7th, so not a bad day for him. We'll see you, though, next week, Andrew, at Daytona. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, we'll see if we can't win that one.
Alrighty, that was Andrew Hale, driver of the 4 Machine. Next up is Nathan Meyer, standing by with our broadcast. Our lead commentator, Austin Esrom, if I can get the words out.
I will definitely send you over to the Fox booth after that one. But I am standing by with our race winner, Nathan Meyer. Nathan, redemption from last week, gotta say it. I mean, a huge performance from you all day. You looked like one of the best trucks, if not the best, the entire night, especially that second half of the race. Oh my goodness. Just kind of walk us through your night, and what were you thinking whenever you saw James Harris just get a little tight in your mirror and take out your main competitor of Andrew Hale?
Yeah, man, it felt good. I was worried. I definitely not the fastest person here. I think on the long run I was able to hold my spot, but at the beginning of these races and just on green flags in general, I'm not that fast here. So to see them get a little bottled up and give me a little space, it felt really good.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little bit of luck, but I don't know. I think you're selling yourself a little bit short here. You were really, really good at the end of that first stint, at least the first long green flag stint. The only guy that I think was really dogging you was the race leader of James Harrison. He had 20 lap newer tires than you. So I think you're selling yourself a little bit short, but Andrew Hale was a little bit quicker, I would say, at the very end of the runs.
Yeah.
But you were able to maintain through the middle, keep your track position the entire night. And whenever it mattered, you found yourself on the front row with a really good chance. And then even after the pit stops, where a couple people stayed out, you were on the bottom lane, which was very beneficial to you. Like I said, after last week, with what happened with Andrew Hale, did it just kind of feel like karmic retribution whenever you saw that in your mirror?
I mean, yeah, I hate to talk ill, but I was happy when it happened, you know. It gave me the win and also a little payback there. I think I might as well call us even there, even though I didn't do it. But yeah, I honestly feel like there should have been 3 in a row, considering I got wrecked at Richmond at the end and then last week. So this feels good. And got my dad on the car, so I was able to pull it out tonight. Feels good.
Yeah, we definitely talked about your tribute paint scheme. We would like to offer our condolences once again, but
Yeah,
congratulations for putting his face in victory lane on that Crown
Thank
Royal
you.
paint scheme. I mean, that's an incredible story, and we're looking forward to seeing that over and over for the rest of the year, because you did say that you're going to be running it for the whole season, correct?
Yep, it's gonna be on there the whole time.
Well, then awesome. I hope that we can, continue to talk to you in the booth, and that you can challenge for that championship, because you had a great run here tonight and definitely picked up, well, maybe not a lot of points, because your 2 main championship contenders finished 2nd and 3rd, but still able to close that gap a little bit. So congratulations. Are there any shout outs you can give here at the end of the interview?
Yeah, so shout out to you guys, Grid Vision, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, all those guys that help us out, and yeah, just a shout out to my pops for teaching me everything I know. Thanks, guys.
Well, that was our race winner, Nathan Meyer. Congratulations once again to him for winning here at Dover International Speedway. Just bringing it home for his dad. So a big congratulations to the driver of the 24. But that is going to do it for us here at Grid Vision. For everybody here at Grid Vision, Austin Derbyshire, Brian Britt, everybody in the Champion Power Equipment Race or iRacing Truck Series. I've been Austin Edstrom, and we will see you next Monday for A Open and B Open to start the season.